Hey guys, Corey here. Welcome back to the channel for another Clash of Clans video. Guys have been asking for it for a very long time, and finally it is here. I'm gonna do a base building video. Guys, I'm gonna share with you guys all my tricks, tips, and secrets for building world-class bases that can defend at the highest levels of competition.
Nerf this!
If you've learned something from my videos, give me a subscribe, smash that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. Guys, let's jump right into it. First of all, I got some stuff set up here that we're going to go over, look at some different situations and scenarios, but I haven't done a base building video yet for two reasons. First of all, during an active season, kind of silly to spill all your base building secrets when you have to try and defend that weekend. Second of all, I wanted to wait until I felt qualified, guys, and for a long time I didn't, because I started out just like every other clasher. Base building is probably the most difficult thing to learn in Clash of Clans. Building good bases can actually defend skilled attackers. Guys, I defended really well in CWL Invite this year with my Town Hall 11. I never once got freshed by a Town Hall 11. The worst base that I had was tripled on the second try by a Town Hall 11. That was hands down the worst base I had. Most of mine had 3 or more defenses, had a couple 5 defenses. I think most of the time I actually ended up getting tripled by Town Hall 12s instead of by Town Hall 11s. So I'm looking at that. I've definitely got some stuff I can share with you. I'm going to go over my process that I use to build bases from scratch, from nothing, and show you how I form those into bases that are ready for war. I'm going to share all those secrets with you. I should probably start this out also by saying there is no such thing as a base that defends everything. It's just not there. I don't care how great this base is, how excellent your base is, it's got an Achilles heel, it's got a weakness, even if you don't know it yet. So the best that you can possibly do is try to defend the attacks that you expect to get hit with, the attacks that you get hit with the most often. If you can defend those, you're gonna do really well. So first thing you want to ask yourself, what are the attacks that you're getting hit with the most, and what can you do to defend those kind of attacks? And that's going to vary whether you're in a farm clan, a lower league, or a higher league like CWL Invite or Premier or something like that. That answer is going to vary quite a bit, so that's going to determine what kind of base you want to build to defend that. And towards the end of this video, I'm going to be going over specific attack strategies and how to go about defending those specific attack strategies. That way, if you find the ones in there that are common to you, I can give you some tips on how to defend those. Before we get into that, though, I'm going to share with you guys my process, how I turn a blank slate into an original base, all right? So we're going to finish this one later. How I start always is with inspiration, all right? I don't just start building, like all my best bases have come from inspiration. Sometimes it's inspiration from one of my bases that has defended really well. Sometimes I just got to start over and I look at another base that has defended really well and get my inspiration from that. I'm going to give you an example right now of a Lexnos base. I'm pretty sure I put a video out on it because it defended amazingly, like 5 defenses, it finally had to be dipped by a Town Hall 12. They might even have failed a Town Hall 12 on it, I don't know. But here is the base. This is a Lexnos design base. It's out of one of my previous videos. It defended so well that I took a look at it and I used it for inspiration, all right? In particular, I used this section up here as inspiration, all right? And you're also going to notice the eagle is away from all this other stuff. We got all the ADs up there. We got both the Inferno Towers up there. Got a king up there. Tons of value up there away from the eagle. Also, the kind of the layout of these compartments, the way these compartments were in general, and the fact that they had some dead space in between them. And I'll show you, just by thinking of that, using it as inspiration, I went and built this base right here. So you're gonna notice it's a way different base, all right? But look at this section right down here and notice the similarity that it had to the top of that Lexnos base. Now, to keep it an original base, I don't look at that other base, my inspiration base, when I'm building. I don't. I take a look at it ahead of time, see what I like, what I want to pull, and then I shut that down. I open up a blank slate and I start building. So I ended up building compartments to look, mostly just like this. Not exactly the same. It's original, but the backside I had to do something with. And originally, my first version of this base, there was nothing special in this backside at all. It was horrible. It was just like compartments. And what I ended up going with after that base, I wasn't happy with it at all. I ended up doing a rebuild on the back end there using some Eagle artillery spacing principles to make the Eagle difficult to path to, difficult to reach, and that's how I ended up coming up with this base. All right, so I use a base for inspiration. I'll look at it, I'll shut it down, and then I'll just start building. All right, so step 2, first of all, you gotta have your inspiration. Step 2 is to just build it. Open it up, build the base, get it done 100%. Even if you're not 100% happy with it, because that's okay. Step 3 is going to be testing that base, all right? That's where these extra base slots are going to come in handy. Usually when I'm testing a base, I got 2-3 different versions. I'll copy the base, put it on a different layout, and start changing little things depending on, first of all, sometimes I just don't like a base and I just rebuild it. A lot of other times we'll test it. Start testing it against queen charges, against Sui Lalo value, whatever it is. And then whatever I think it's going to get hit with, and then I'll make adjustments to the base depending on that. A lot of times, leading up to a competition, making those little changes to bases, I'll have 3 different spots, sometimes 4, taken up with different versions of that base, slowly making changes, testing, seeing what's going to work. So step 3, that process, test that base, make fixes, make changes, and that's how you end up with a finished product, with a finished base that's ready for competition. You've seen the attacks that people are most likely to use on it. You've changed some things to counter those attacks, and that's how I end up with a finished base in time for competition. That is my process right there. Now, guys, we're going to take a look at some basic base building stuff. Let's get out of this, and we're going to go back to that one that I had on at the start. I'm just going to kind of share with you guys a lot of really basic base building things that are going to benefit you when you're trying to build your own base from scratch, or even make modifications on an existing base at all. And I've got it right here. So first of all, guys, we're going to start out right over here with this Inferno Tower compartment right here, and you'll see the double spaces right here. Use the 2 because that's going to make it difficult to path loons, hogs, anything into that Inferno. You don't have anything that can directly path into it, and so that Inferno beam is just going to be raining some fire down on the other things. Also, it can reach the outside as well, so before things even start getting in here, they're already getting hit by those Inferno beams. It can be rough on healers, really rough on witches and skellies. That's why this is such a common design to see. And it's also worth noting that from out here, this corner, all it takes is just a couple of those diagonal squares right there, including the wall piece, and a queen standing right here cannot reach this Inferno in there. Now, that being said, the way that this one is built is still not 100% correct because of the spacing right here, but I did want you to know that queen cannot reach Inferno from right here. So if we go down to this compartment right here, you're going to notice it steps out a little bit more, and that's not to prevent the queen from hitting the Inferno. Remember, she couldn't reach already on the other one. That is literally just to increase the space inside of these tiles there, so that you have 7 spaces in between the wall pieces. And what that's going to allow you to do is have 2 defenses and a space in between them. The reason for that is if you have a queen standing right here, she can shoot this archer tower, but she cannot shoot the wizard tower, okay? And that's going to make her maybe second guess, does she really want to walk around this direction, or is she maybe going to go around here after this wizard tower instead? It's going to make it an unsure position to start your queen charge, whereas this one right over here, if a queen stands, right here, she can grab this one, she can still reach this one, and then she's going to step forward and grab this one and this one as well, all right? So she's standing right here, she can reach both these defenses without moving, so you know without a doubt that she's not going to circle around this way on the wall, she's going to go up that way if maybe there's a space in between here, okay? So that's why you generally see this one used. You'll see it steps out one over here, it steps out one over there, and that's just to allow better spacing in between there, all right? And that same principle is going to be used for corner pieces as well. sometimes you're going to see corner pieces right here that have a double space between defenses, sometimes a single space. What that's going to do is, if you start a queen right here and want her to walk this way, it's going to be a little more difficult. You're not going to be 100% sure that she's not going to walk around this wall for this cannon, because she can't reach it, but it's not so far away that she might not backtrack it. However, if you're going to start a queen from this side, you've got these extra spaces right in here. For sure, she obviously can't reach the archer tower, but it's also back far enough from right here that she's usually not going to end up backtracking around here. So if you were to start a queen walk from right here on this side, you would have a high degree of certainty of her walking this way because of this double gap. If you started on this side, not so much surety, because she might backtrack for that cannon, all right? Also, if we look over here, this is going to be the same principle we saw on the Inferno Tower compartments. So if you want to start a queen walk from right here and have her walk this way, it's going to be very easy to do, because she can stand right here and shoot this archer tower and this archer tower, giving her nothing over here to go after. Provided you've got the outer trash funneled as well, you know for a fact she's not going to be doubling back this way. She's definitely walking this way, all right? This one has a single space, so if she stands over here, you don't have that same level of surety, so make sure to keep that in mind when you're designing those outer edges of your base. All that stuff can be taken into account, because somebody can take this double space and turn it into a surefire queen walk and really just come up with a killer plan for your base. And here we go. Now this is new, all right? This is new. We used to have all these walls this width, but with the stone slammer dropping on defenses now and opening up all the walls that are touching it on the outer edges of bases, we're starting to see a lot of compartments that have 4 spaces in between, all right? And you're either going to have your defenses out here, so a stone slammer could open this wall but not the inner wall to give more access to the base, or you're going to see it stepped back a ways. That's pretty common too, because in that way, if you path a stone slammer to here and it drops once on it, it's going to open up the back wall, but it doesn't ever open up this wall, all right? But by making that compartment wider like that, you're going to deny them the full access that they would get if they dropped the stone slammer on this archer tower. If they drop on this one, they've got access straight through here, all right? All right, guys, now we're going to go to Eagle compartments. They have changed recently. I believe it was 2 updates ago. They fixed what they called a bug in the Eagle artillery targeting for the queen. It was a weird bug, because before, if you had 3 tiles, 1, 2, 3, between a wall and a defense, every other building in the game, I think, except maybe army camps, the queen standing from right here could have reached. But she could not reach the Eagle artillery for some reason. She had to be closer. That's why you see so many older bases that just have this 2-tile dead space around the Eagle artillery. And that's why on the newer bases, you're going to see this extra space, all right? You're still going to see the 2 tiles right here, but you're going to see an extra space behind the wall, because from right here, the queen cannot reach this Eagle artillery. But now, from this wall right here, she can reach it. And on queen charges, that becomes a big deal. Eagle artillery is a really high value defense. Obviously, if you're at Town Hall 10, the Eagle artillery part of this is not going to apply to you, but all that other stuff that we've already talked about is definitely going to apply to you. So let's take a look at the air defenses really quick. That's why I went ahead and threw one down right here. Now, if you were going to start a queen walk from right here, I would much rather walk my queen this way than this way, because this way she's going to reach this air defense before it can reach her healers way back here, all right? If you want to start a queen walk this direction, queen cannot reach the air defense. So first of all, you got that possibility of her walking the wrong way, circling back because of that location right there. But you know what? Honestly, this works even if that thing is right there as well, okay? Because queen cannot reach the air defense. It's one too many tiles away from that wall. But that air defense, as she walks by and her healers kind of fall in behind her, that air defense is gonna be able to pick off your healers. So really important when placing those air defenses. I mean, it depends what you're trying to defend, all right? Totally depends what you're trying to defend. But if you're trying to defend a queen charge in a certain area, having your air defense back like this, or say you want to defend a queen charge that's moving this direction, having your air defense right here is going to work well. If you have your air defense right here, gonna defeat the whole purpose. Queen can reach it. It's not going to be an issue. So there were some of the basics that we're going over on base building that are going to apply Town Hall 10, honestly, all the way up through Town Hall 12. Now, guys, it's time for the part of the video we're gonna start looking at some individual attack strategies and how to defend those individual attack strategies. Guys, I want to apologize because there's no way that I can impart everything I know about base building in one video that's probably going to be like 15 or 20 minutes. I don't know. I have no idea how long this is going to be. But there's just too much to cover, guys. I didn't learn this in 20 minutes. I learned this over the course of 2 whole seasons of CWL Invite. And guess what? I'm still not the best base builder out there. Not even close. There's tons of guys out there that I consider way better base builders than me. But that being said, I gotta acknowledge that I am at least good enough to share this info with you guys, because like I said, I was very successful defending in CWL Invite. So guys, let's go ahead and take a look. First of all, defending some of the basic stuff. Alright guys, Queen Charge. First of all, we already went over a lot of that stuff right here. A lot of things you can do to defend a Queen Charge is going to be making compartments in areas that are difficult to funnel, difficult to be sure which way she's going to go, and I think we already covered a lot of that with a lot of this positioning stuff on how to determine, you know, how to defend which way she's going to go. This setup's, you know, quite a bit better than this one or this one and so forth. But there's going to be some other stuff you can do too. You can do stuff in your CC that's going to make it more difficult to Queen Charge, all right? Queen Charge based attacks take a long time, all right? They're tight on time by nature. You have this whole Queen Charge, then you have this back end attack, whether it's going to be miners, hogs, or loons. It's not a 2-minute done attack strategy. It's 240, 245, sometimes 259. So a lot of times it ends up as a time fail. So if you run CCs like a Hound CC or even a double Ice Golem CC, not as much as it did before, but it'll still slow it down. That's going to make it more difficult to Queen Charge. So if you're really trying to defend Queen Charges most of the time, incorporate these base building principles, first of all, to make it very difficult to find a starting location. Also, utilize those storages, man. They have really high hit points, so put them in areas where they would really like to funnel. All right, I like tucking them right in here because a lot of times you want to get rid of some of that stuff. But there's a lot of other areas as well. Here, check this out. Here, actually, we're gonna go into another base. If you want to defend a Queen Charge, there's another trick. You can literally just slow it down with buildings. Take a look at this base right here. I ran this base. I think they just hit it with a Town Hall 12. I kind of wanted to see how it would do. But in testing, this base got super wrecked by Queen Charges. Starting up here and going either this way or this way. Alright, and all I really ended up changing to try and defend those Queen Charges was put all my storages up here and my Town Hall. It's like, if you want to charge it, that's fine, but it's going to eat up a ton of your time getting through all these storages. You're going to have a difficult time finishing that attack within 3 minutes, alright? I don't do that every time, but if it's a really strong charge, you know, I'll bust out some of those tricks. A lot of people like to use black bombs, black air bombs, to kind of try and stop a Queen Charge, and you could do that to a degree, but I wouldn't overinvest in it because on second attacks, it's really easy to nullify those with a single loon, alright? So there's defended Queen Charges. That's pretty common. Alright, oh, actually I can leave this base up. If you have to defend like Bowler Witch attacks, I don't know who still uses those, but I imagine the farming type wars probably still a thing. Something you can do to defend Bowler Witch attacks, first of all, run multi-target Infernos. You can run Hound CCs, gonna make it a little more difficult to Bowler Witch, gonna keep your Queen tied up for a while. The pups popping, gonna have a difficult time. But the main thing that you can do to defend Bowler Witch is gonna be having multi-target Infernos that you cannot path through both of them on the way to the Town Hall. Most of these Bowler Witches are using that wall wrecker to get through the base. And if you look at this one right here, you can run right up the gut, but you're really never going to pass through both of these multi-target Infernos. It's going to be wrecking witches the whole time. Also, multi-range reaches outside the base. That's going to be very difficult on skeletons. So basically, if you're going to Bowler Witch this base, you have to pick one side or another, and it's not going to have a lot of success. Not going to have a lot of success at all. Ooh, another thing I wanted to note earlier on that other stuff about the eagle is keep your eagle, first of all, difficult to path to, can be really, really fortunate. On this side, it's easy to path through, but it's really deep in the base. You'd have to go super deep in the base. It's almost like your whole army is going after the eagle artillery, you know what I mean? But if you can keep it separate from a lot of the other value in the base so that you can't get, you know, Queen, Inferno Tower, and Eagle, you're going to have a lot of success. Sometimes you're putting the Eagle out in no man's land, but you're giving them the choice. You can get some good value, or you can get the Eagle Artillery value, but you're not gonna get both. So defend Bowler Witch, make sure they can't path through both those multi-target Infernos. Also, Giant Bombs on the outside of the base can be very helpful defending Bowler Witch. Giant Bomb and 2 small bombs, if maxed out, I believe still kill witches. I hope that is still true after the witches got buffed, although I'm not 100% on that. Now, guys, if you want to defend bats, all right, there's a lot of bat attacks. Peekaboo bat. We got drag bat still a thing. If you need to defend bats, you're going to want to spread out your splash damage a little bit, all right? And make sure that you're not able to freeze too many of these. See, this is not a good example. These 2 right here, they can be frozen with 1 freeze. But the other one on the other side makes it to where even if you're freezing 2 of these guys at the same time, you still have another wizard tower unaccounted for. So if you wanted to bat this section, you'd probably have to do an ice golem and then freeze the other 2, which could be done, but it's difficult. Definitely difficult. All right, as far as tornado traps, you happen to be a Town Hall 11. A lot of times I don't find a good spot for those until my base is tested a few times. So once it's tested and I'm seeing where people like to go with a queen charge or an entry, that's where you don't want your tornado trap. You want your tornado trap a lot of times defending the main portion of the attack where it's really going to slow down some loons, hopefully in range of some serious splash damage, really going to slow down some hogs or something like that. So that's where I tend to place my tornado traps. Other people use them to defend certain things. That's fine too. If you have something really exposed and you want to defend it with a tornado trap, they can be really situational as well. So defending bats, spread out the splash damage. If you're really trying to defend bats, make sure that your wizard towers are not in range of other defenses. They can't be tanked by ice golems. So this one's not a great example for that there. I did not think this base would be getting hit with that because I couldn't see a way to do it. But keep all that stuff in mind. Spread out your splash. Make sure you're not giving up 2 splash buildings with 1 freeze. And make sure your wizard towers aren't able to be tanked by ice golems. That's going to help you out defending those bat spells. Oops, just kidding. All right, hogs. All right, check this out. I do not center my queen really at all anymore, and there's a very good reason for that. When you have your queen set off to one side, if somebody's going to queen charge this base, they're not going down this side because you got to get that queen if you want to do a hog attack. Most of the time you're trying to get that queen if you're doing a Lalo too. So by offsetting your queen to one side of the base, doesn't have to be by a lot, you can determine which way they're going to enter with a wall wrecker. You can determine which way they're going to walk. If they want to walk into the base, it's going to happen on this side, and you can put all your traps on the other side of the base. All right, so hog traps like giant bombs, springs are going to be away from the queen value. Also red air mines, stuff like that, it's going to be really hard on loons. Skeleton traps also away from the queen side, you know, as much as you can. So if somebody charges in here, you know, you're not wasting up a bunch of traps. You can load the other side of the base a lot more heavily with traps to stop the hogs or the loons that would be going down that side of the base. All right. So yeah, keep the traps for hogs away from the queen area, and you're gonna have a lot of success. That way, if you get the queen, you're not getting any of the traps, and your hogs, even if it looks like good pathing, if they gotta run through all the spring traps, all the giant bombs on the base, a lot of times they're not gonna have enough hogs left to get through it. So that's how I go about defending hogs, keeping those traps away from the queen. Lalo, kind of the same deal as far as the traps go, and that's why I like to offset my heroes, so you can put most of your traps on the opposite side. When you have an idea of where they might likely charge, you can make sure to keep your red mines also your air skellies and stuff like that on the other side of the base. But then there is pathing as well. You gotta look at the loon pathing, and there's a lot of cool stuff that you can do to really kind of screw up the loon pathing. Like this. Take this for instance. Somebody doesn't know this Tesla's here. They're going to drop probably 4 loons right here, 4 loons right here, you know, something like that, and think they're getting a straight shot into both this air defense and this wizard tower. When you have a defense directly between the two like that, it's going to draw both those groups in, and then they have to make a choice where they're going to go next. Sometimes you get a nice split. Often you'll get 1 going here, 4 going here, and the air defense doesn't go down, and it's still just firing away at all these loons in there. So you can really take a look at your loon pathing throughout the base and really make it screwed up. But there's some common things too that are going to make it more difficult as well. And here we were looking at that right at the beginning, and in fact I said that right at the beginning of this video. Compartments like this, where you have this high value defense like that multi-target Inferno, you can make it very difficult to path into here just by using these type of compartments, these type of islands as well. Another thing you can do to kind of screw stuff up, just, you know, little stuff that really does end up helping. It all adds up. If I could find a mortar. There we go. Look at this mortar right here. I'm going to set these mortars directly in between these two. And it was the same thing I showed you before. But with this mortar's not here, all of a sudden you can send 4 loons here, 4 loons here, and you're rocking and rolling right through that base. Once you put a mortar right here, you know, and maybe something out here as well, or maybe you got a Tesla out there, something like that, you're really going to start to screw up that loon pathing as well. So you got the Tesla right here, and you really don't know where they're going next. And when you can't determine where they're going next, like I said, you can't direct target both these. If you were able to direct target both these, they're down, they're moved in towards this multi. But with this, you get that uneven split a lot. A lot of times it seems like they go away from the wizard tower, so you get like 6 loons all going to the archer tower, and the wizard tower is firing on them the whole time. So is the multi-target Inferno, and then from there, who knows if they even go to the wizard tower. Then they go to the cannon. But one thing's for sure, they're not pathing to that multi right away. So take a look at that stuff. Break down your defenses if you think you're going to get hit with Lalo, and really mess up that pathing. You can do it with Teslas, you can do it with things like mortars. Even though it doesn't damage your loons, you can still use them to really screw up pathing throughout the base. Another thing I really liked about this base over here that was actually really handy and helped it defend a lot of times was check out this dead space right here. All right, first of all, that made it tough to do, like, you know, entry based attacks like Bowler Witch or something where you're trying to get both those Infernos. But more importantly, this had a ton of dead space between these defenses, and when people were trying to Lalo from right here, a lot of times you want to push that core group through the core, and there was really no doing that here. Even if you got through this side strong, all of a sudden you're pushing way out here and then having to come back in and fight another sweeper as well. Because of all this dead space, there was no pathing through the core of the space. They had to go all the way out, back around into a sweeper, just getting smashed on by that multi-target Inferno, the Expo, the air defense, the sweeper. And that's actually why several Lalo attacks ended up failing on this base, because that horrible loon pathing around the outside trying to come through the core. So a lot of things you can do to mess up Lalo, especially if you're looking at that pathing. All right, Queen Charge, E-Dragons. All right, I know a lot of people right now are getting hit with E-Dragons. I know I am in the Supercell Clan War Leagues. My Town Hall 11s are just getting hit by Town Hall 12s all day long. And here, let me show you this. Actually, man, I use that one oh, well, I just use it in midweeks. Who cares? All right, I've been using this old base just in midweek wars. It's just up. It's not my base. I got it from Lex right after I turned Town Hall 11. It's been modified. It's out there, whatever. It was getting crushed by E-Dragons because these defenses are packed pretty tightly. Crushed by Town Hall 12 E-Dragons, mind you. Because I had, you know, I think a Hound in the CC originally. All I did to make this base defend E-Dragons was change my CC request to like a witch and all minions, or 2 witches and minions, and having all those little troops in there, you know, the skellies and the minions really slowed down those E-Dragons a lot. And it has not got tripled by E-Dragons yet in this round of Supercell Clan War Leagues, just by changing the CC. Also, more spread out bases are going to be more resistant to E-Dragons, but for me that's not worth it, because a spread out base is going to be a lot more vulnerable to a Queen Charge. You're going to have a lot more places where you can make that Queen Charge easy. The more spread out that base is, seems like, I don't know, Queen Charges become very powerful, very easy. You don't even need that many rages because you don't have that much DPS concentrated. So if you really think you're going to get hit with the E-Dragons a lot, I would suggest putting some small stuff in the CC, archers, minions, witches, something like that, and that's really going to stop those E-Dragons in their tracks. So guys, if you have any other questions for me, like I said, there's no way I could cover this all. This probably ended up being a 25-minute video. I don't even know. I didn't set a timer. So guys, you know, I guarantee if you watch this, you definitely learned some stuff. I also guarantee that I left out a ton of stuff. There's going to be stuff where I'm like, oh man, I forgot to say it. Guys, that's how it goes. I took my notes and do my best, but I definitely shared a lot of good stuff with you, I believe, especially my process and how I go from a blank slate to having a base. Having that inspiration really helps. I know it helps me a lot. So guys, if you have any extra questions for me, feel free to hit me up on my Discord server. If you're still around at this point, if you learned something from this video and you're not a subscriber yet, do me a favor, tap that subscribe button. I would appreciate it. Also guys, check out the details below my videos, and there you're going to find links to all my social media. Make sure you give me a follow on Twitch. I stream over there from time to time. Also guys, join my Discord server. First of all, it's the best place to get a hold of me. Second of all, you're going to get first notification on Sub Wars, any of that stuff. I always tell my friends in my Discord server first before I put it out to the public in a video. And guys, with that, I'll see you in the next video.